I'm getting a lot of questions recently about being that a realtor and out there, and is this the right time to buy, and what do you see happening? And I've kind of explained a little bit, a lot of things that I've thought or predicted that may happen. Most of it's happened. Some things I'm not. We're not economists, but we just kind of make sure and just kind of watch what we're seeing out there. But I want to bring this topic up because I think that there's a lot of things that people have to kind of wrap their mind around of. Is now a good time based upon your scenario? And, when you ask a real estate agent or anybody in sales, they're going to say, well, I think most people are going to say yes. I'm going to say yes too, but I'm also going to say, what's your motivation, right? Like, do you need to buy a house or do you want to buy a house? And there's a lot of other factors that come into it. And I think for me, I always go back and say, well, if you're asking me if now's a good time to buy, are you asking me based upon saving money? Are you asking me based upon, are you talking about interest rates? Are you asking me, is this the best time ever to buy a house in Las Vegas? Or has there been a better time? I'm going to say no to all those. This is not the best. You're not seeing the best rates. You're not going to save the most money, right? This is not where you're getting pennies on the dollar. It really comes down to do you really need to buy a house or do you want to buy a house? And I think there's a big disconnect on when you watch videos like this or you watch real estate agents. If you ask them, hey, is it a good time to buy? I think anybody could put together a justification for both ways.
And I mean, listen, I get it. I get it, right? Yeah. Ask a realtor, of course, they're going to say yes or sell. Like, I get that whole, well, if you're asking a realtor, of course, they're going to say yes. I absolutely get that. Because I apply that theory to like many other business, like if I'm buying a car.
Sure.
Like I'm the same way. So
go ask a car salesman if it's a good time to buy a car.
I totally get it.
Well, it's like, oh, you got the car salesman tactic. Like, you said it was great. Well, listen, if you're asking the question,
do you need a car?
Why don't you rephrase the question? Say, here's my objective. My objective is to save the most money. Yeah. And if you said, Dan, is now the best time? I'm going to say no. Because you're not going to save the most money based upon other
It depends on your situation. Right now might be a good time for you to buy. Right now might be a bad time for you to buy. Only you know that. I mean,
might be a good time to buy a Toyota right now, or might be a good time to buy a Mercedes
kind of the one thing about real estate, though, that's different than a lot of other businesses or subjects is that everybody needs a place to live. Right? I mean, I know you need transportation, but you can take a bus if you don't have a car. You can... I'm not saying that deal, but regardless, you still need a place to either rent or you need a place to buy.
Well, but here's the thing. You can say it like this, too, is that the necessity of shelter is always a high cost, regardless if you're renting or not. Right. I think it's more about, do you want to get into a marriage or commitment of a 30-year fixed rate mortgage or just buying into a house because it is a long-term investment. It's the biggest investment most people make. I think the decision-making on that is significantly higher. But I want to say that, look, if you're going to ask any salesman, hey, is this the right time to buy or is it not? You can always paint that picture that, you know what, I can see, I've been down the road, right? I've seen and experienced a lot of different markets. Here's the pros of this market. So I can justify why you would buy in this market. But there's also other things that I could say, hey, it's not the best time to buy either. I think it comes down to, do you need or do you want to buy a house, right? And that's a big question.
It depends what your situation is.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if you're young and you're like, hey, I just got married, I just moved to Las Vegas, and I'm starting a career, and, if you live in your... I don't think there's too many places that I can think of, if any at all, that you look at in this country where you bought a house 10 years ago, unless you took out home equity loans or whatever it was, are upside down.
Yeah.
Everybody, every single person's in the plus. So, I mean...
So my question is this.
If you're going to live there for 5, 6, 7 years, and hey, you know what? The market might go down a little bit, but overall, I'm going to make... And regardless, you need a place to live. So say you have a $2,000 a month mortgage payment. If you're renting, well, even if the market goes down and you have a $2,000 mortgage payment and the market goes down and say what your house is really worth now, your payment should only be $1,700. Well, I'm paying $300 over in a sense because the market's gone down. But if you're paying, say, $2,000 or even $1,500 a month in rent, you're still paying $1,500 a month towards somebody else's mortgage versus your own.